Does everybody kind of understand their screens and how to mute themselves?
Yes.
There's a little microphone. If you don't mind muting yourself during the interview, and then when you have a question, if you want to raise your hand really high, or you can unmute yourself. Usually it goes to the active speaker on the screen. There we go. And today I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Wanda Miller. I'm the Assistant Director at the John Jermain Memorial Library in Sag Harbor. We are doing these local spotlight interviews of local residents, business owners, people who have experienced changes in their lives based on the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're hoping to do these recordings so that we have something for our archive and something to save for the history of the library for the future. And today I'd like to welcome Lisa Field. She is the president of the Sag Harbor Chamber of Commerce, and she's also the proprietor of the Variety Store. And it might be a little redundant, but my first question for the archive is, what is your name?
My name is Lisa Field.
Great, thank you, Lisa. If you're willing, what year were you born?
I was born in 1968, so that makes me 51.
Okay. Have you ever experienced anything like this before?
No, nothing.
Okay. And that, I'm sorry, that's a little off script, that question. How long have you been in Sag Harbor?
So I was born in Sag Harbor, raised there. Lived there my entire life. I went away to college, and then when I came back from college, I moved back here. So I've been here really my whole life. I came back here and raised my family.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What is it that you do in Sag Harbor?
So I own the Sag Harbor Variety Store. It has been in my family since 1970. So it's something that I've grown up with. It's just always been a part of my life. My parents bought the business in 1970. So actually this year it's our 50-year anniversary in our family. And we really kind of started kicking that off, talking about that in January. And then when all this hit, that's kind of gotten put on the back burner. But it is exciting though, because it has been, like I said, in my family for 50 years. So I run the store with my mom, and I am also the president of the Sag Harbor Chamber of Commerce.
Right. And do you find that some of the duties with the Sag Harbor Chamber of Commerce intersect with being a store owner, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been involved with the Chamber of Commerce basically forever. When I came back from college and started working in the store, that was in 1991. I immediately got involved. I've held every position from a director to I was the recording secretary. I've gone through different, chairs of many of the events. And it was actually 6 years ago when I was like, okay, now is time to step up and be the president, because things were going on. We needed leadership. And I feel that even though the Chamber of Commerce does include businesses, not necessarily just on Main Street, I do believe the heart of the Chamber of Commerce is our Main Street business district businesses. So I felt that the time was right to step up, and it's something that I can do. Most of what I do for the Chamber, I can do, I work it into my work day. I kind of had a routine, and I'm saying had because things are very different now, but where, first thing in the morning when it wasn't that quiet, I would go in and paperwork or chamber issues that needed to be dealt with. I could devote, half hour, an hour or so in the morning to it. Because I'm right on Main Street at the Variety Store, people would know where to find me if there was something that came up, or a chamber question, or things like that. So it's been very helpful. I've been able to be more hands-on, I think, with both roles.
Wow. And I'm going to ask, how has COVID-19 changed your job or your business, or how you've been working with the Chamber?
Okay, so that's a two-part question. I'll start with the Chamber of Commerce portion of it. When this first came down, I guess it was March 15th. Remember, it was a Saturday, and the mayor was going through town, going into the different businesses, saying that they were most likely going to be issuing the state of emergency and that all non-essential businesses were going to be closing. And I do remember her saying to me, don't worry, we think you'll be able to stay open. We think you're essential. And I, breathed a sigh of relief with that. But then as you start to realize how many businesses were being affected by that, there was this ripple effect going through all the business owners, and there was a lot of conversations and phone calls and emails and what is this going to mean? And there was the need for information. And I really want to give credit to the mayor, Kathleen Mulcahy, and the deputy mayor, Tom Gardella, sorry. They came walking through town, and they really have been present with everything. And they were sending me so much information as the chamber president with, please get this out to your members. So the first couple of days, it was just crazy. It was sending out, I felt I was bombarding people with information, but any information we got on what the state of emergency meant, what stores would be permitted to stay open for those that were closing, what that was going to mean, how to get help with the small business funding. So there was just a lot of information going around. So there was kind of that craziness in the very beginning, and it's still continuing. Like, so when people, like if the mayor or Bridget Fleming had information she wanted to get out, the county executives, when there's information they want to get out to the business owners, a lot of that comes to me. And then I forward that through the Chamber of Commerce. So whereas the focus for the Chamber of Commerce at this time of year normally would be getting our membership up and planning events and figuring out ways that we can promote business and bring people into the village, it's totally taken a turn where really everything's about survival right now. How the businesses are surviving, how they're getting through. Because even the businesses that are open, everyone's dealing with their own challenges there because things are so different. So then switching over to how it's affected the variety store, we're very, very grateful that we're able to stay open, but it has totally changed. It's really not just what we're used to. We go in the morning, we've shortened our hours, and we have a reduced staff. So on the surface, that sounds, oh, okay, you have less hours. But in those hours, we're packing in more work with less people than ever before. I have to say, it's been about a month and it is calming now, but I would say the first 3.5 weeks, people were coming in and there was just a sense of fear and urgency and panic and people wanting to, whereas we're a variety store, we sell lots of different things. For those first couple of weeks, the focus was, do you have toilet paper, paper towels, Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer? And it was almost like this frenzy to get those items. So, we're trying to keep stock. We're trying to keep the store, maintained and cleaned and sanitized. We want everybody to stay healthy. And then the rules kind of changed. In the beginning, they said, don't wear gloves. Then, well, you should wear gloves. Now there's the mandate that everybody should wear masks. So it's just been, it's been keeping up with all of that has been its own challenge. And for us, trying to get in the right merchandise that people need, because there really is that, it's changing now, which is interesting. The new thing within the past couple of weeks with the mandate with the masks, so many people are making their own masks. So our fabric, craft, sewing notions department, there's now the demand on that. So whereas normally if none of this was going on this time of year in April, we would be planning for the spring and summer, it would be all about what outdoor toys are we gonna get, and do we have the volleyball sets, and let's plan for t-shirts for the summertime. It's really just about basic necessities, and the items that people are seeking are really kind of survival, not basic survival that, do or die, but just the needs have been changing. So that's just been, for me at the store, seeing that evolve has been very interesting.
It's pretty fascinating because it's changing very rapidly too.
Yeah, and like I said in the beginning, the first few weeks, that, like I said, was cleaning supplies, hand sanitizer, and then the next week you saw the progression where all of a sudden everybody was out of dishwasher detergent and they needed storage containers for food and saran wrap. So there was a run on saran wrap. Just these things you don't think about when people are in the house. And then the following week, it kind of turned more to health and beauty care items like deodorant and toothpaste and, shampoos and feminine products. So it's just been this progression.
Wow. Wow. It's amazing to be able to watch it and kind of see it happen. It's scary too, but.
It is. And then when people come in, it's still very odd when someone comes in, making sure they're not getting too close to you, they're not getting too close to the counter. It just takes a whole lot of getting used to.
Yeah.
We're limiting the number of people in the store. So it's been very odd. There's been times where I've had to say to people, okay, if there's two of you here and one person's paying, would you mind standing outside, or would you mind waiting to come in until we get a few people out? It's not anything I really ever thought I'd do.
Yeah. How has it changed you personally?
I don't know that I really know how it's changed me personally yet. At this point, it's still every day, I'm kind of just doing what I need to do to get through every day. Still going to work, still trying to do what I can for the chamber. The one nice thing personally that I'm enjoying is I have two older daughters that had relocated to Boston. And when they found out that they were going to be working from home for a minimum, at first it was, 2 weeks, both of them came home and they've been working from here. So it's nice that I'm getting that family time, because I really never imagined that we'd all be in the same house again.
Yeah,
so
it is nice.
That's been nice, but so for right now, I haven't really had the time to stop and think and reflect on it. I think if you asked me in, 4 or 5 months, I might have the answer on that.
Okay. Are there other routines that are different for you? You mentioned the timing of the opening and closing of the store.
So there are things that normally my morning would be, I would go to the post office first thing in the morning. I try to go to the post office once a week, just because you're supposed to limit your interaction, and do I really need to walk in and out there? With banking, the branches out here you can't just walk into a bank. So they're very accommodating. When you have a problem, you can call, but it makes you think, whereas in the past, if I needed to go get change or I needed to make a deposit, I could just say, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to walk out and go take care of what banking needs I have. Have to kind of plan ahead for that. I'm taking advantage of the night drop. We deal with Bridgehampton National, and I'll give them a plug because they're really good. They've been accommodating. There was a couple of times I had to go into the bank for an issue, and it really is just a phone call and making sure you can go in. But that's been a big change. So that routine has definitely been thrown off. Personally, I would usually at the end of the day, I'd run to Scavoni's and get what I needed for dinner that night. And that's just, you have to really think now before you go to the grocery store, what time is it? Is it going to be crowded? Can I run in and get what I need? And I have to say they've been really good about keeping up with stock. For the most part, they're very well stocked. But it's just things you have to think about that in the past you just took for granted.
Yeah, there's a lot that's different. What do you think things might look for yourself or your business in the future?
That's the real scary part, is that really everything's so unknown right now. I'd like to think that things are going to go back to normal. I'd like to think that within the next couple of months, this will all be behind us, and it will be, business as usual. But I don't know that that's going to be the case. And what worries me too is that with the longer that this state of emergency is in effect, and the longer that the other Main Street stores are not open, the harder it's going to be for many of those stores to actually reopen and then to stay in an established business. So I really wish I had that answer, and it's scary to talk about because While I'm hopeful that things will get back to normal, I think it's going to be a totally new normal and a different normal.
Is there anything that you think would help with the recovery?
I think the most important thing is when we do start opening, that everybody really still needs to be aware, use common sense. We can't go back to just taking things for granted, like crowding into spaces. And it would be nice not to have to wear a mask all day at work, like that I'm looking forward to. But as far as washing hands and keeping things sanitized, I think as long as those things and the protocols are followed and we do things slowly, I'm very much looking forward to seeing things start to reopen and start to get back to some semblance of normal.
Yeah. Is there anything else about the experience that you'd like to share with us?
I would like to say that I'm really impressed with the way the village officials have handled this. The mayor, she just started. I even said to her at one point, I'm pretty sure this isn't what you thought you were signing up for. And she laughed and said, no, she said, thought I'd get a few photo ops. But the mayor and her deputy mayor I hear them on WLNG. They're, out there constantly with information. They're really working hard to keep everybody safe and weighing the needs of safety versus the fact that people still need to live and work. So I really would like to give them credit. I think they're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. That's great. I'm going to sneak in another unexpected question. Okay. It's, can the library help you in any way?
I think the library will be a tool that we're going to need going forward. Right now, I can't think of anything off the bat, but once things start to open, the Chamber of Commerce, well, we meet in the library, as you know. We have our board of directors meeting there monthly, which we haven't been able to have and don't know when that will happen. But I think as things start, as other businesses start to open and things start to get back to normal, people I think are going to crave that interaction of meetings and just getting together to talk about shared experiences too. So I think we probably will be turning to the library, for your help with that. I know we actually had even planned on doing an April meeting of some sort there in the library with the entire membership, but that never panned out for obvious reasons.
Yeah, hopefully we'll reschedule that and we'll.
Is a great source. You've helped us in the past with job fairs. You're a great resource for us. So I definitely see the Chamber of Commerce turning to you, for help as we rebuild and as we go forward.
As you find that you're being called on to disseminate information too, we're happy to help you with that also. If you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I have one last question for you. Have there been any silver linings for you or anything that's inspired you during these times?
Yeah, for as crazy as things have gotten, people are nicer. And I'm finding that, I think retail in general, unfortunately, had been moving away from when I first, when you first started, think back 20 years, 30 years ago, whatever, when you'd walk into a store, you'd say hello to the person at the counter. There'd be a little small talk. If you ran past somebody on the floor, how you doing? Do you need help? And lately there's been a little bit too much of when people come in, they're so preoccupied that, I'm sure many cashiers will tell you this, that the people checking out, sometimes they can't even be bothered to look up from their phone to acknowledge that you're a human being standing there trying to say, hi, how are you? Did you find everything you needed? And people seem to have slowed down. And in that, I'm finding that people really are nicer. People seem to be appreciating more the fact that they're able to have a little bit of human interaction. So that's kind of nice. And I hope that continues. And I hope that once things, get back to whatever normal is, that part doesn't change, because it has been really nice. Just, people are doing for other people. There's a lot of community service going on, neighbors helping each other, businesses helping each other. And And I hope that continues.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank
Does
you.
anyone else here have questions for Lisa while we have her? Frances.
Lisa, I'm just curious, you know, you read in the papers and your own experience in terms of the challenges of getting certain kind of supplies. I mean, the sanitizing supplies that you're talking about. Have you been able to get the satisfactory delivery from your regular suppliers, or have you had to go out and, you know, other resorts? There's one question. My second question is, did you run out of puzzles?
Well, as a matter of fact, we did run out of puzzles, but we got restocked today. So I'll tell you a funny story. Our suppliers have been great. I have stuck with the ones that we've been dealing with, and some have really come through. There's actually our biggest supplier. It's called Variety Distributors. They are in Iowa, and they deal with variety stores. That's actually what they do, you know, and as everybody knows, there's fewer and fewer variety stores. But they really have come through the most for us. And we got an order today, and we were joking. It's about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It came in. It was 4 boxes, and it's what we're calling gold now. We got in elastic, we got in puzzles, and we got in hand sanitizer. So, you know, we've never been so happy to get the 3 most random items. But for the most part, that first week was a little crazy. I think we ran out of toilet paper at first.
Of course.
We've been able, though, I have to say, each week we get restocked. Our big deliveries usually come Thursday. So by Friday, Saturday, we're restocked. Like last week, we had wipes. We got in the Clorox wipes. We got Lysol. We got toilet paper. Problem is, it goes quickly.
Sure.
And we are limiting people. And again, I never really thought I'd be in a position where I'd have to say, I'm sorry, I'm only going to sell you 2 packages of toilet paper today, because there's that fine line between you're there to serve the customers and you want to sell them what they want. But if you sell everything to the one customer, then you have 10 people that come in afterwards that don't get what they want. So, so yeah, we've been, and I keep telling people that, I'm like, we're getting the supplies, like, just be patient. Like, we're asking you just to take what you need, or, you know, in some cases we're limiting it to 2 or 3 pieces, but we're trying to do it to be fair to everybody, because we want everybody to have the opportunity to, you know, get the hand sanitizer, or to, you know, get what the elastic is a really big thing right now. Everybody's making masks, and so, you know, it's funny, again, I never thought I'd be rationing elastic, but we're saying to people, you know, well, how much do you really need? Can you take 6 yards? You know, when they say, oh, I'll take the whole spool. Sorry, I can't sell you the whole spool, but, you know, but I say we're getting it in. We've been getting it in every couple of days. We get a little bit more at a time. So it's kind of testing everyone's patience, but you have to just be patient.
Well, thanks for everything you're doing to help the community.
Oh, thank you.
Does anyone else have something? I'll give it a moment. So I don't see any other questions right now. Lisa, I really appreciate your taking your time to do this with us.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
And thank you. I'm so happy that you're healthy and safe and your family is there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Stay well.
Thank you. You too. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
How do I do that?